Howdy, everyone. This is Sharon for another conscious sharing moment. And so remember to like and share. Remember to turn on your notification and also remember to subscribe so that you will know when these conscious sharing moments are on, because just like when life unfolds, a lot of things are so spontaneous. It's nothing that we can really put a time on or what time something is going to happen. And so the more you practice to adjust, even to look forward to something, even when you don't know when it's going to happen, that's going to bring more joy into your life. And then as a side note, is you're training your nervous system. And so let's move on. And also let me remind you to make sure you for those of you who put comments, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, let me know when you are listening, meaning if this is the replay, just say replay so I know that you're there. Because I know that these conscious sharing moments bring lots of joy and insight and revelations and aha moments for you. And on that note, when I say that, in that, for those of you who know who knows like, oh, I need to have more self-care, I know where I'm going, or you know that you're dealing with certain things that you need to work on and you are pumped up, but you want a little bit more help or want a little bit more insight, remember to connect with me so that we can do a consultation. I have these self-care consultations, and we can do it individual or in a group. The group is upcoming, and so I give you more details on that. And believe me, doing it within a group, the consultation and bonus coaching piece of it, that is more beneficial, I'm going to say, as in an individual, because of the fact there is something about connection and community connection. You know how that old saying goes, misery loves company? It's not that misery loves company, it's that we as human love company. And when we find something that we resonate with someone else, we tend to gravitate towards that. And not only that, it almost seems like someone understands. And so again, you're not alone. And this is what self-care is all about, is being able to identify what your needs are and when it's time to get help. The other thing I want to say about that too, we always hear, like when it comes to the athletes and even the entertainers, in that they are good at their game. They are good at whatever gift that they have. Let's say it's a singer. But even with the best singers, they still took singing lesson. Even with the best piano player, they still took lessons. Even with basketball players, football players, they still have coaches to help them get better. So why do we, because even I was one of those persons as well, why do we, let's just say, who are not at those levels, think that we're going to really get through life completely on our own? Even though you've heard me say at the end of the day is you, but it's the end of the day what you put inside of you or what's already in you. And so if you're not putting anything inside and learning to expand, then we end up either repeating or staying stuck or where we are. And we don't want that, because there's greatness into you. And this leads into the topic, to think, do, and be different. The way that we think, do, and be different, we need to be within ourselves. We need to believe in ourselves. And sometimes there may be times in which you may not do that. Because there's even been times in my life, and I'm like, what in the world? I always say I'm learning about myself, because this healing, as they say, it's a journey. I would say there's levels to it that pretty much peels away. And one thing I want to say about that too is that when it comes to unpleasant, uncomfortable experiences, believe me, of course, in the midst of it, it doesn't feel good. We want to point the finger at someone. But one thing that I will tell you, they reveal something within ourselves, either something magnificent, something that needs a little bit more nurturing, something that's expanding us. And if anything, it helps build characteristics or install habits that we may not have had. If we need a little bit more patience, if we need a little bit more, what I want to say, they call it strength, but I want to call it something else. But whatever that thing is that we need to do that we don't want to do. And so this is where when you dig within yourself in order to do that, the other piece is in investing in yourself is to, we always talk about therapy. I am one of those individuals that advocate what is best for you. So for some individuals, it's therapy. But one thing that I will say, before you even get to therapy, it's an assessment. So it's for you to sit down with yourself to assess. It's for you to sit down with yourself to have a consultation with yourself. And then that allows you to think. But you got to do. It's like whatever that comes down, you may have discernment and choose to do, because in order to be is to think and do something different, because we would not be, or shall I say, we would continue to be what we have always been if we continue to think and continue to do what we've always done. So the other part of it is not only sitting down with ourselves for our own assessment and our own consultation, because sometimes we don't see ourselves the way that we are. And I'm not going to say that the way that others see us, that's part of it, but the way that we are, and it's not always the way that we perceive it. It is truly of our behavior, because there are times that I've sat back and I'm like, well, I don't think that way, but I can even see behaviorally what my patterns have been. And so it's a matter of going deeper. And so the other part in saying that, it is really important to be able to sit down with someone, whether it's a life coach, whether it's a therapist, to at least have a consultation, to at least have an assessment. And sometimes you may go in and not knowing, but you just know you want things to be different. You want to elevate yourself, because again, let's take the stigma away from all of this. It's all about leveling up. You say you want to, have a legacy, but in order to have a legacy is to be able to look at yourself, to look at ourselves, so that we can be better and do better. Again, something different. And so remember, having it was something. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember where it coming from. But as they say, seek counsel. Yes, you can seek counsel within yourself, but sometimes we need to seek counsel from other places as well. And so remember that when it comes to conscious sharing, when it comes to conscious sharing, when it comes to Sharon D. Brown, the number one self-caregiver in the world, when it comes to all of that, I'm always looking for and even trying out new things when it comes to how can I be better and do better. And even when it comes to family and friends and others, sometimes they're telling me about myself and I'm like, but I do. Sometimes I may react. I'm no different than anyone else. So this is one reason that I can say, hey, y'all, consider this, because I'm giving you something that I have learned. And just know you all have gifts. So in saying all of that, there are services that I have available. You can do a discovery call when you're just discovering and trying to figure things out. But when it's like, hey, there are some things that I'm stagnated at, there are places that I want to be and I want to do, and I just want to think different. Come on over for a consultation. And especially for those of you who supervise other people, because you really have a big task. You have a big task. And when I say supervising other people, hey, this isn't always about a job. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are a parent, you are a supervisor. If you are a guardian, you are a supervisor. Even sometimes if you are a spouse, you could be a supervisor. I put on this, you're taking turns of being a supervisor. But at the end of the day, it's about elevating yourself to making sure that you are living in your purpose. Because in order to have a legacy of your name, and especially when we're talking about a monetary legacy, we've got to do different. We've got to think different. We got to do different in order to be different. So head on over to you can either go to my I'm about to say my page. You can go to my page, but my website, you can go to my website, and the best way, or you can go directly to my calendar schedule. And so connect with Sharon D. Brown, and the information is listed on the screen, and I'm going to also put it in the comments as well. Because one thing I can say, the benefits of having a consultation, a benefit of having an assessment of yourself, so that, first of all, the number one key really is to show your greatness. Because a lot of times, even though you can be doing, sometimes some of us, we can do so much, and we know that what we're doing could be beneficial, but sometimes we may not always get the feedback. So if anything, so that you can acknowledge your strength, your greatness, and sometimes you just need to hear that. And I just say, at the end of the day, it's about us, where it doesn't phase us. But until we get to that point, I just say it is nice to hear from time to time just of your greatness. And then the other thing is, we need to be true to ourselves. We need to sit down with ourselves, and sometimes with someone else, to say, hey, let's lay it down here. These are the things that I see where it can be beneficial for you to work on, so that you can expand. And then have a self-care strategy plan to put in place, and in what things that you can do to make sure you do those things. Because the thing is that you are responsible for you at the end of the day. And you've heard me say this one time before. We've heard the saying is like, you can teach a man, I won't say a person, to fish, but what is, or you can give them the fish. Which one are you going to do? And sometimes it can be easier of just giving somebody the fish, but it is so much better to teach someone to fish. And this is what this self care is all about. It's for us to learn how to put on the bait ourselves, and to do the work that it takes to catch the big fish. So, what are you doing to catch your fish? Because the other thing is, are you going to catch the fish and just, take it on? Or are you going to catch it so that you can learn how to catch more, or either put it back in so that it can expand, because it can just be in the joy of catching the fish? Because the other thing is like, if we keep eating the fish, then I'm just, I guess that's one of my vegan jokes right there. And so, everyone, what are you doing today to truly take care of yourself? How are you investing in yourself? How are you not just making your world a better place, but making the world a better place? And again, As I said before, sometimes it can be in your family, sometimes it can be at your job, sometimes it can be just in your community, or it can be a larger audience. And this one thing that I love about me doing these conscious sharing moments, because it's my way of giving back to the world, because I love sharing information. But one thing I will say is that if you want more details of how you can pretty much transform your life and get out of your way so that you can be the person that you know that you can be, come on over for a consultation, either individual or consultation with group. The consultation with group, both of them are fly, but one thing I will say is that the groups, there's something about that group connection. So connect with Sharon D. Brown. And again, thank you for joining me for this conscious sharing moment.